Hi friends, it's Walter Zemrock back here on the Love From Lizi YouTube channel, and today I'm featuring a video with 4 cards from the April Love Notes kit. This card uses an A2 sized black fold-down card base, a white piece of cardstock that is 5.25 inches by 4 inches. We're using a strip of this beautiful decorated vellum that is 3/4 inches long by 4 inches long. We'll be using some of the beautiful sticker strips from Love From Lizi. We'll be using the stamp set for the Love Notes kit and a piece of white cardstock for stamping. We'll get started by taking the red peel-off stickers, and we're going to put them around the edges of the white card panel. I start by adhering it onto one side, get it into position, snip off the remaining part of the sticker, and then I'll repeat that for the other 3 sides. I then take the piece of the printed vellum and put some double-sided tape on the back of it and press it down onto the left-hand side of the cardstock. I put some double-sided tape onto the back of that card panel and put it down onto the card base. I stamp the typewriter using black ink, making sure that I get a really good impression. I now start to color the typewriter. I use a silver-colored gel pen to color in the carriage return element. I then also use that silver pen to color in the key strike levers. I decide I'm going to color the typewriter itself red. So I fill that in and color the typewriter red. Once done coloring, I go ahead and fussy cut out the image. And then I use a black alcohol marker to go around the edges so that you don't see any white peeking through from the sides of the image. I now use gold metallic pigment ink to stamp the sentiment. I then use a black Sakura jelly roll pen to go ahead and write in the remaining part of the sentiment. The first part that I write is boy met girl. And then I go ahead and write the words boy and girl again, leaving space to put a heart sticker in between there. I select the heart sticker and affix it in place. And I use some black ink to stamp a couple of hearts around the card. With that done, I add some double-sided foam tape to the back of the typewriter, and then peel off the back and affix it in place onto the card. And our first card is done. Isn't it cute? For the second card, we'll be using an A2 pink card base, a piece of the printed cardstock featuring the typewriters that's cut down to 4 inches by 5.25 inches. I used a stacking rectangle die from Love From Lizi to cut out some sentiment strips. I stamped the typewriter onto a piece of white cardstock, and we'll be using some of the letter stickers as well as some of the peel-offs. I decide to color the typewriter red again, and so I use a darker red around the outside, and then I'm going to come in with a lighter shade and then fill it in with an even further lighter shade that blends it all together. I use a very dark shade of gray to color in the knobs on the typewriter. And a lighter shade of gray to color in the keys and the spacebar. A lighter gray shade of gray is also used to color in between the key strike levers. And a silver metallic gel pen is used to color in the return carriage lever, as well as in between the key strikes. With the coloring done, I used my paper trimmer to trim down the size of that piece of white cardstock, and I trim it close to the width of the typewriter and also the height of the typewriter, but I leave some room at the top to make sure that I have enough space to pull the piece of cardstock up and out of the card. I now decide on where I want to make the slit on the card panel to be able to fit the typewriter panel inside of the printed card panel. So I use a ruler and I make some marks on each side with a pencil so that I know how much I have to cut. And then I grab my X-Acto knife and I cut the space in between the two marks with my knife. Once done cutting, I grab my pencil and erase the pencil marks that I made. And now you can see how that panel with the typewriter will just slide right in. So happy with that, I take some double-sided foam tape strips and put them onto the back of the card panel so that I can have one at the bottom that will keep the typewriter panel from slipping out. And then I put them on the side to help keep that panel in place. I also put some around the rest of the panel so that I can have enough of the double-sided foam tape on to adhere it down to the card base. With all strips in place, I remove the paper from the back and then adhere that card panel into place. As you can see, it's really easy to pull that card panel out into place and put it back in. I now use the letters to put my words and sentiments in place. I put some onto the piece of paper, and then I also put some down onto the strips that I had cut. Once all the letters are set, I start to glue my sentiment strips down onto the card. And with the sentiments in place, I glue a black ribbon that comes with the kit, as well as a wooden heart down into the center of the card. And our card is finished. Card number 3 starts with an A2 sized top fold black card base. I then take a piece of the printed vellum that is 3.75 inches by 5 inches, put some glue around the edges of it, and adhere that down to a piece of white cardstock that is 4 inches by 5.25 inches. I now take some of the really pretty gold peel-off strips and I put them around the outside of the printed vellum on the card panel. I start with one side, get it in place, snip off the end, and then do the other sides. Once all of those sides are done, I take another one of the peel-offs, and this time start on the immediate side of the white card panel, and go ahead, get it in place on one side, snip off the rest, and then do the remaining 3 sides. Once the strips are on, I add some double-sided adhesive tape to the back of that panel and stick it onto the card base. For this card, I selected the cut-apart image that says "Stories of Us are my favorite," and I cut it out, and then I put it down onto the card to determine where I'd like to add some of the white heart stickers. So with that in place, I add white heart stickers into the area above as well as below where the cutout card will be placed. I then take some double-sided foam tape and put it onto the back of the card cutout. Remove the paper from the backing of it and adhere it down onto my card. I thought it would be fun to use some of the different sized hearts and put them onto the pages of the book that are on that particular part of the card. So I take some of them and add them on. And with the hearts added, I decided to take some additional of the gold peel-off strips and put them around that part of the card just to tie in the design all together. So I do the first side, snip it off, and then do the remaining 3 sides. And with that, our third card is done. This card uses a red A2 card base, a 4-inch by 5.25-inch card panel. We'll use some of the red foil paper with the die from the kit. We'll use some of the sentiment stickers as well as the frame sticker. I start by taking the printed cardstock and putting some double-sided adhesive onto the back of it, and then adhering it down onto the red card panel. With that in place, I take the black glitter strips and I start by adhering one onto the side of the printed card panel. And once I'm happy with it, I snip off the end and then complete the other 3 sides. I then use the edge die and the red foil paper to cut out an edge that I put onto the card. I align that die cut piece onto my paper trimmer and trim right along the edge in order to get that border image cut off. I weed any remaining pieces from that image, and then I use my craft glue to put some glue on the back and stick it down onto the left side of my card. With that in place, I go ahead and grab my stickers and I take the frame off of the sticker page. I adhere it onto the red foil cardstock and I cut that off and then fussy cut around the frame. Once the frame is cut out, I take a cloth and wipe off the center to make sure there's no glue residue left there. I then go ahead and decide on the sentiments I want to take off of the sticker sheet, and I start to adhere them down. The first two I put right onto the foil, and the third one I take the sentiment, I put some double-sided foam tape onto the back of it, and I place it down onto the frame. I then take one of the black and white heart stickers and put it down in the bottom. A gold metallic marker is used to color in the white part of the frame gold. And I then put some double-sided foam tape onto the back of the frame and adhere it down onto the card. I now take two of the other black and white hearts, put some double-sided foam tape onto the back of them, and stick them down onto the card. With the hearts in place, I take a red alcohol marker and color in all three of the hearts that I adhered with double-sided tape. I now take some of the green crystal gems that came with the kit and put them down into the center of the flowers in the border on the left side of the card. And just like that, the fourth card is done. And here are the 4 really fun cards that we made in this video. I think they're fabulous. I hope you agree.